I pulled into the driveway early that Tuesday, tires crunching gravel, expecting the usual, Laura cooking, the kids bickering over the TV. Instead, the house was dead quiet. Too quiet. I stepped inside, dropped my keys on the counter, and froze. A note sat there, scribbled in Ethan's jagged handwriting. She's not welcome here anymore. My stomach twisted. She? Laura? My wife of 18 years. I called out. No answer. The living room light flickered on, and there they were, Ethan, 16, arms crossed, and Sophie, 14, glaring at me like I'd missed some memo. What's going on? I asked, voice cracking. Ethan didn't blink. Mom's gone, Dad. We made her leave. I laughed, thinking it was a prank, but Sophie's eyes, sharp, unyielding, told me this was no joke. They turned on her. My own kids. I'd always trusted Laura. She was the steady one, the glue. I ran a carpentry business in Dayton, Ohio. Long hours shaping wood into furniture, and she kept us grounded. But lately, she'd been distant. More trips to see Mike, her brother, who'd moved back last year. I figured it was family stuff. Normal. The kids, though, they'd been whispering for weeks, exchanging glances I couldn't decode. I'd brushed it off. Teenagers, right? But now, standing in that dim living room, their words hit me like a hammer. She's lying, Dad, Ethan said, tossing his phone on the couch. A photo loaded. Laura's blue sedan parked outside a house I didn't recognize. Not Mike's. My throat tightened. What is this? I demanded. Sophie stepped closer, voice low. We've known for a while. You're the last to figure it out. Figure what out? My mind raced. Laura's excuses, her late nights, the way she'd dodge questions. I wanted to argue, defend her, but that photo gnawed at me. Ethan grabbed his phone back. There's more, Dad. You're not going to like it. He nodded at Sophie, and she smirked. Actually smirked. We got proof, she said. And we're not done yet. I sank into the recliner, staring at the kids like they'd grown horns. Ethan paced, all wiry energy, while Sophie perched on the couch arm, picking at her nails. Proof of what? I asked, dreading the answer. Ethan stopped, met my eyes. Mom's not visiting Uncle Mike for family time. My brain stalled. Laura and Mike grew up tight. 2 peas, she'd say. When he moved back to Dayton, she started those trips. Once a month, then weekly. Seeing my brother, she'd chirp, tossing her purse over her shoulder. I never questioned it. Why would I? But the kids weren't buying it anymore. Sophie leaned forward. She's been weird, Dad. You've seen it. Had I? I thought back. Laura humming less in the kitchen, her phone buzzing more, the way she'd linger in the garage before leaving. I chalked it up to stress. My business was steady, sure, but money was tight. Maybe she needed space. Ethan snorted. Space? Yeah, right. She's got a whole other life. He swiped his phone again. Show me a time-stamped pic. Laura's car, same house, 2 a.m. last Friday. I'd been asleep. Alone. Hold on, I said, hands up. This doesn't mean anything. Maybe she... Sophie cut me off. Maybe she what? Got lost. For hours. Her sarcasm stung. I rubbed my temples, picturing Laura's smile, warm, familiar. Could she lie to me? To us? I met Mike plenty of times. Gruff guy, decent handshake. Family cookouts, holidays. Normal. But then Ethan dropped his voice. We followed her once, Dad. She didn't go to Mike's. My chest tightened. Where, then? I asked. He hesitated, glanced at Sophie. She nodded, like they'd rehearsed this. Some dive bar on the edge of town, he said. She met him there. They didn't look like siblings. The room spun. I wanted to yell, call them liars, but their faces, dead serious, stopped me. Sophie stood, grabbed her jacket. We're not making this up, and we've got more than photos. More? My head pounded as Ethan checked his watch. Tomorrow, Dad. You'll see what we mean. He walked out, leaving me with that sinking dread. Sleep didn't come that night. I lay in our bed, her side cold, replaying Ethan's words. They didn't look like siblings. What did that even mean? I'd seen Laura and Mike together, laughing, arguing, normal stuff. But now every memory fell off, like a carving I'd sanded too smooth to trust. Morning hit, and the kids were already up, huddled over cereal. I stormed in. Talk. Now. Ethan shoveled a spoonful, unfazed. Eat first, Dad. You'll need it. I didn't eat. I sat, arms crossed, while Sophie slid a notebook across the table. Timeline, she said. Pages of dates, times, places, Laura's mic trips tracked like a detective's log. October 12th. Left at 6 p.m., back at 1 a.m. November 3rd. Mike's, but his wife posted a family pic online, without Laura. I flipped through, jaw clenching. You been stalking her? Ethan shrugged. Someone had to. But then he leaned in, voice low. She slipped up last week. Said she was at Mike's, when he wasn't even in town. I blinked. How do you know that? Sophie grinned, a little too proud. We called him. Asked about his sister. He sounded confused, Dad, like really confused. My gut churned. I grabbed my phone, scrolled to Mike's number, but stopped. What would I say? Hey, you lying about my wife? Instead, I stared at that notebook. Years of trust, shredded. Ethan tapped the table. There's something else. We dug into Mike. Dug into him. These were my kids. They were spies. He's not her real brother, Sophie said, casual as if she'd mentioned the weather. I laughed, sharp and bitter. What are you talking about? She's told me stories. Growing up, their mom. Sophie shook her head. Lies. We checked records. No birth certificate ties them. Nothing. My hand shook. Laura's voice echoed in my head. Mike's my rock. Always has been. But if he wasn't family, who was he? Ethan stood, grabbed his keys. We're not done, Dad. Tonight, we confront her. Confront her? She was gone, kicked out. She'll be back, he said, reading my mind. And we'll be ready. I spent the day in my workshop, hands on a half-finished bird carving, but my mind was elsewhere. Laura and Mike. Not siblings? It didn't add up. She'd cried at his mom's funeral 5 years back. I'd held her through it. Was that fake too? The chisel slipped, nicking my thumb, and I cursed under my breath. Blood smeared the wood. Fitting. Everything I'd built with her felt tainted now. The kids were at school, leaving me alone with that notebook. I flipped it open again, tracing their notes. Too precise. Too real. Mike moved back last spring, big house, decent job at a car dealership. Laura lit up when he did. Family's whole again, she'd said, kissing my cheek. I'd smiled, happy for her. But the timeline gnawed at me. Her trips started small, dinners, catch-ups, then overnight stays. Mike's got a guest room, she'd say breezy. I never checked. Why would I? I trusted her. But then I remembered Karen, Mike's wife, sweet, clueless Karen. She'd never tag along. Not once. My phone buzzed, Laura. We need to talk, her text read. My pulse spiked. I didn't reply. Instead, I drove to the kids' school, picked them up early. She's coming tonight, I said, gripping the wheel. Ethan nodded, like he'd expected it. Good. We got questions. Sophie smirked. And she's got no answers. Back home, we waited. Dusk fell, headlights swept the driveway. Laura. She stepped in, eyes red, purse clutched tight. I can explain, she started. I crossed my arms. Go ahead. But Ethan cut in, cold as ice. Why'd you lie about Mike being your brother? Her face went white. What? That's ridiculous. Sophie tossed the notebook at her feet. Birth records don't lie. You do. Laura stammered. You don't understand, I snapped. Then help me. Why's Karen never with you too? She froze, mouth opening, closing. No words. Ethan stepped closer. We followed you, Mom. That bar. Him. Her eyes darted to me, pleading. It's not what you think. But the kids, they weren't done. Sophie tilted her head. Then what is it? 'Cause we're about to find out more. Laura's hand shook as she backed toward the door. Laura stood there, cornered, her breath hitching. You're twisting everything, she said, voice cracking. I wanted to believe her. 18 years don't just vanish. But that notebook, the photos, the kids' certainty, it was a wall I couldn't climb. Twisting. Ethan scoffed. We saw you, Mom. At that bar. All cozy. Her eyes flicked to me, desperate. It was nothing, Tom. I swear. Tom. She hadn't called me that in years. Just honey or babe. It felt wrong now, hollow. I stepped forward. Then why lie? Why's Mike not your brother? She sank onto the couch, hands twisting her scarf. He's family to me. We grew up together, neighbors. I called him my brother because it felt true. I frowned. Neighbors? That wasn't the story she'd sold me. Sophie snorted. Nice try. Neighbors don't sneak around at 2 a.m., Laura's head snapped up. You don't know what you saw. But Ethan pulled out his phone, swiped to a blurry shot. Her and Mike heads close outside that bar. My chest burned. Explain that, I said, voice low. She rubbed her face, stalling. We were just talking, catching up. He's been helping me. Helping her? I laughed, bitter. With what? I'm right here. Her silence was deafening. Then Sophie dropped the real bomb. Helping you hide something, maybe? Like why Karen doesn't know about these talks. Laura's eyes widened. You leave Karen out of this. But the kids, they smelled blood. Ethan grinned. Too late. She's next. Next? My head spun. What are you planning? I asked, turning to them. Sophie shrugged, casual. She'll see what we saw. That's all. Laura lurched to her feet. You can't. You'll ruin everything. Ruin what? I grabbed her arm. Not hard, just enough. What's everything, Laura? Tell me. She yanked free, tears streaking. You don't get it. I was protecting us. Us? The room tilted. Protecting us from what? Ethan stepped between us, voice steel. She's lying again, Dad. And we're done waiting. He nodded at Sophie, who grabbed her backpack. We're out of here, she said. But tomorrow, Dad, you'll thank us. They walked out, leaving me with Laura's sobs and a truth I wasn't ready to face. Laura's sobs faded as she stumbled out the door, her taillights disappearing into the night. I stood there, numb, the house too big, too empty. The kids were gone. Where, I didn't know. Protecting us, she'd said. From what? I'd built this life with her. 2 kids, a mortgage, a workshop full of sawdust and dreams. But now it felt like a shell, hollowed out by secrets I'd never seen coming. I poured a coffee, hands shaky, and sat at the kitchen table, staring at that notebook. Their evidence. My failure. Morning broke, gray and heavy. The front door creaked open. Ethan and Sophie, back like nothing happened. Ethan tossed his jacket, smirking. She's really gone now, Dad. I slammed the mug down. Where were you? What's this thank us nonsense? Sophie flopped onto the couch, stretching. Relax. We just made sure she knows we're serious. Serious? They were kids, my kids, not vigilantes. But Ethan's eyes glinted, hard and unfamiliar. We told her to stay away. For good. I leaned forward, voice tight. You don't get to decide that. Sophie laughed sharp. Someone had to. You weren't gonna. Her words cut deep. She was right. I'd let Laura's excuses slide for months, maybe years. I'd been carving birdhouses while my family cracked apart. But then Ethan sat beside me, softer now. Dad, we did it for you. You don't deserve her lies. My throat burned. Pride clashed with fear. These weren't the kids I'd raised. What's next? I asked, dreading it. Sophie grinned, pulling out her phone. We've got a plan. Karen's gonna love it. Karen? Mike's wife? My stomach dropped. Leave her out of this, I said, echoing Laura's plea. But Ethan shook his head. She's in it, Dad, whether she knows it or not. They stood, grabbing their bags like they were off to school. Wait, I started, but Sophie cut me off. Trust us. You'll see tomorrow. The door slammed, and I was alone again, coffee cold, mind racing. What had they done? And why did it feel like I was the last one to catch up? I didn't sleep again. The house creaked, mocking me with every groan. I kept picturing Laura's face, tears, panic, and the kids' cold certainty. They'd always been sharp. Ethan with his quiet intensity, Sophie with her quick wit. But this was something else. I wandered to my workshop, ran my fingers over a half-carved sparrow. What made sense, cut it, shape it, control it. My family? That was splintering beyond repair. I'd met Laura at 22, fresh out of trade school, her laugh pulling me in. 18 years later, was it all a lie? The kid's notebook sat on my bench. I flipped it open, more than just dates now. Receipts, blurry pics, even a bar napkin with Mike's handwriting. See you soon, L. L for Laura? My chest tightened. I'd trusted her trips, her stories. Mike was family, or so she'd said. But neighbors? That rewrite didn't fit. I remembered her hugging him at Thanksgiving, his arm lingering too long. I'd shrug it off, stupid trusting Tom. Now it replayed like a warning I'd ignored. I grabbed my phone, scrolled to her last text. We need to talk. No reply from me. What was there to say? The kids had drawn a line, she was out. But doubt gnawed at me. What if they were wrong? What if this was some teenage rebellion gone wild? Ethan was grounded once for sneaking out. Sophie'd forged my signature on a permission slip. They weren't perfect, but that photo, Laura and Mike too close, stuck in my skull. I tossed the phone paste. The clock hit 3 a.m. I poured another coffee, burned my tongue, didn't care. My business had been tight lately, orders down, bills up. Laura handled the books sometimes. Had she noticed? Had Mike helped there too? The thought twisted me up. Then I heard it, tires on gravel. I peered out. Ethan's beat-up Civic. He and Sophie climbed out, whispering, carrying something. A box? They slipped inside, saw me, froze. Sophie smirked. Couldn't sleep, huh? Ethan set the box down, casual. Tomorrow's gonna be big, Dad. Get ready. Big how? I opened my mouth, but they were already gone, upstairs, leaving me with that box and a sinking dread. I stared at that box all morning, brown, taped shut, no labels. The kids were at school, or so they said. I didn't touch it. Felt like Pandora's lid, ready to unleash hell. Instead, I drove to Mike's place, knuckles white on the wheel. I needed answers, not photos or notes. His words face to face. His house loomed on a quiet street. 2 stories, neat lawn, the kind of place you raise kids. Laura's brother lived better than us. I parked, marched up, rang the bell. Karen answered, all smiles. Tom, what a surprise. She ushered me in, coffee, cookies, small talk. I played along, throat dry. Mike around? I asked casual. She shook her head. Work. Busy season at the dealership. I nodded, scanning the room. Photos of them, their 2 boys, no Laura. Odd for family. Karen sipped her coffee. Laura's been over a lot lately, huh? Those weekly coffee dates with Mike. My cup froze halfway to my mouth. Coffee dates? She'd never mentioned that. Yeah, I lied. She loves catching up. Karen beamed. They're so close. Like siblings. That word, siblings, hit like a slap. I forced a smile. How'd they meet, anyway? Karen frowned, thinking, oh, years ago. Neighbors, I think. Before we moved away. There was again, neighbors. My pulse quickened. She ever talk about growing up with him? I pressed. Karen shrugged. Not much. Just that they were tight. Tight. I pictured that bar photo, their heads bent together. Too tight. But Karen, oblivious, stirring sugar, didn't flinch. She didn't know. I stood, mumbled about work, headed out. Tell Mike I stopped by, I said. She waved, clueless. Driving home, my mind churned. Coffee dates. Neighbors. Lies. Laura had built a whole story. Funerals, childhood tales, and I'd swallowed it. But why? What was Mike to her? I pulled into my driveway, hands shaking, and saw the kids' shoes by the door. Early again. Inside, Ethan lounged on the couch, Sophie scrolling her phone. Good chat with Karen? Ethan asked, smirking. My jaw dropped. You followed me? Sophie laughed. Nope. Just guessed. Check her mailbox tomorrow, Dad. Mailbox. That box flashed in my mind. What did you do? I demanded. Ethan grinned. You'll see. I've barely slept, that box haunting me from the corner of the living room. The kids acted normal. Ethan gaming, Sophie texting, like they hadn't just flipped my world upside down. Mailbox, they'd said. Karen's mailbox. I wanted to rip that box open, demand answers, but something stopped me. Fear, maybe. Or trust. They'd been right so far. Laura's lies, Mike's role. My hands itched to carve something, steady myself, but I just sat there, waiting for dawn. Whatever they planned, it was coming fast. Morning hit. I drove past Karen, slowed, saw her mailbox, closed, innocent. No sign of anything. Back home, the kids were gone, school, supposedly. I called Ethan. What's in the box? He chuckled. Patience, Dad. It's already done. Done? My gut twisted. I paced, replaying their hints. They'd tailed Laura, dug up records. Now this. Sophie's voice echoed. Karen deserves to know. Know what? The coffee dates? The bar? I'd raised them to be honest, not ruthless. But here we were. Around noon, my phone rang. Karen, voice shaking. Tom, can you come over? I sped there, heart pounding. She met me at the door, eyes red, clutching a stack of photos. These were my mailbox, she whispered. I took them, Laura and Mike, grainy but clear. One outside that bar, arms linked. Another at a motel, his hand on her back. My knees buckled. When I croaked. Karen shook her head. No dates. Just this. She sank onto her porch step, staring at nothing. He said they were family. I sat beside her, numb. The kids had done this. Snapped these, delivered them. I didn't know. I said, honest. She nodded, tears falling. Me neither. But then she looked at me, sharp. Who sent these? I froze. Lie? Tell her my kids were behind it? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed Sophie. How's Karen? She texted. I stared at it, anger flaring. They'd planned this, watched it unfold. I typed back. What else are you hiding? No reply. Karen touched my arm. Tom, there's more. Mike's been weird with money lately. Money? My head snapped up. What kind? Karen's words hung there. Money. He's been secretive, she said, wiping her eyes. Late nights, locked drawers. I thought it was work stress. I nodded, but my mind raced. Money. My business had been bleeding, slow orders, tight margins. Laura handled the books sometimes, said it was fine. Was it? I drove home, head spinning, those photos burned into me. The kids weren't there, again. That box was gone too. They'd taken it, left no trace. I called Sophie. Where are you? She laughed. Chill, Dad. We're safe. Safe wasn't the point. Night fell. I sat in the dark, coffee cold, when headlights flashed. Ethan's car. They stumbled in, grinning, hair messy. Where have you been? I snapped. Ethan flopped onto the couch. Out. Had to finish something. Sophie tossed her backpack down, smug. Karen's got her wake-up call. We're good. Good? I stood, towering over them. You broke into her mailbox. That's a crime. Ethan shrugged. Not if no one knows. My jaw clenched. What else? Sophie smirked. Check her trash tomorrow, Dad. Trash? I grabbed Ethan's arm. No more games. What did you do? He pulled free, calm. We didn't just mail photos. We visited Mike's place. Visited? My blood ran cold. You broke in. Sophie nodded, proud. Had to. Found stuff. Stuff. I sank into a chair, head in hands. What stuff? Ethan dug in his pocket, tossed me a flash drive. This. Plugged it into his laptop while he was out. I stared at it, small, black, heavy with secrets. You hacked him. Sophie grinned. Not hacked. Borrowed. My voice shook. This isn't you. Breaking in, stealing. Ethan cut me off. It is now, Dad. For you. For me. I wanted to scream, throw that drive out the window, but I didn't. I plugged it into my laptop instead. Files loaded, bank statements, emails. My name popped up. My business. Transfers I'd never seen. Laura's signature. My breath stopped. What is this? I whispered. Sophie leaned over my shoulder. Proof they've been screwing you over. Big time. Big time? I scrolled, numbers blurring, and realized this wasn't just betrayal. It was theft. And the kids had cracked it wide open. The laptop screen glowed, numbers glaring back at me. Thousands drained from my business account, siphoned into one I didn't recognize. Laura's name was everywhere, tied to transfers dated back 2 years. My hand shook as I scrolled. Ethan leaned against the wall, arms crossed. Told you, Dad. Big time. Sophie sat beside me, pointing. That's just the start. Keep going. I did. Emails between Laura and Mike, casual at first, then coded. Move it to the usual, one read. The usual? My carpentry business, my blood and sweat, was their piggy bank. I shoved the chair back, pacing. How'd you even get this? Ethan smirked. Mike's laptop was open season. Took us 10 minutes. 10 minutes to unravel years of trust. I've been blind, focused on dovetails and deadlines while they bled me dry. But then Sophie's phone rang. Karen. I grabbed it. Tom. Karen's voice trembled. Mike's losing it. Those photos. He's yelling about who sent them. I froze. What did you say? She sniffed. Nothing. He's scared, though. Said something about the accounts. The accounts. My head snapped to the kids. You knew about the money? Sophie shrugged. Suspected. The flash drive confirmed it. Confirmed it? They'd played me like a fiddle, dangling clues, waiting for me to catch up. I slammed the laptop shut. Karen's a wreck because of you. Ethan stepped forward, calm. She'd be worse off not knowing. Like you were. He was right again. But this wasn't just betrayal. It was theft, maybe jail time. My family was a crime scene. Karen's call cut out. I stared at the flash drive, mind racing. Laura and Mike, they planned this, build a life off my back. But the kids? They'd struck back harder than I ever could. Sophie grinned, breaking the silence. Karen's trash has more goodies, Dad. We left a little gift. Another gift? My stomach churned. What now? Ethan checked his watch. You'll hear soon. She's probably digging through it. Digging through trash? I want to stop them, rewind everything, but it was too late. The phone rang again, Karen, screaming. Tom, you need to see this. See what? My kids had just lit the fuse. I sped to Karen's, heart hammering. She met me at the curb, hair wild, holding a crumpled envelope. It was in the trash, she choked out, thrusting it at me. Inside, more photos, worse than before. Laura and Mike, tangled up outside that motel, time stamped last month. My stomach lurched. Karen sank to the grass, sobbing. There's a note, too. I unfolded it. Sophie's handwriting. He's been lying to you. Check his office. I stared at it, then at the kid's car pulling up behind me. They'd followed. Ethan stepped out, casual. Told you, Dad. Trash day. Karen didn't notice them. She clutched my arm. His office. I found papers. Bank stuff. Your name's on it. My name? I bolted inside with her, the kids trailing silent. Mike's desk drawer was ajar. Statements, withdrawals, my business logo. He'd funnel my money through a shell account. Laura signing off. Karen whispered, How long? I couldn't answer. Years, probably. The room spun. My wife, my brother-in-law, stealing while I carved tables for clients who paid late. Ethan cleared his throat. We figured he'd hide more here. Before I could stop them, Sophie rummaged through a filing cabinet, pulling a ledger. Jackpot, she said, tossing it to me. Dates matched the flash drive. Tens of thousands gone. Karen lunged for it, furious. I'm calling the cops. I grabbed her wrist, gentle. Wait, let me handle this. She glared but nodded. Then headlights swept the driveway. Laura's car. She stormed in, saw us, froze. What are you doing? She shrieked. Sophie blocked the door. Truth's out, Mom. Game over. Laura turned to me, pleading. Tom, I can explain. Ethan cut her off cold. Save it. We've got everything. She lunged for the ledger, but I yanked it back. You stole from us, I said, voice breaking. From me. Her eyes darted. Karen, the kids, the papers, then she bolted. Sophie smirked. She won't get far. Far? I turned to Ethan. What did you do now? He shrugged. Slashed her tires. She's stuck. Stuck. Like me, staring at my shattered life. My kid's more ruthless than I'd ever dreamed. Karen wiped her face, resolute. I'm done too, Tom. But there's more. More? I drove home alone. Karen's words, there's more, ringing in my ears. She'd stayed behind, calling a lawyer, while Laura sat stranded in her car, tires flat. The kids followed me, silent in Ethan's Civic. I didn't ask what else they'd done. Couldn't handle it yet. Inside, I collapsed at the kitchen table, staring at my hands. Calloused, steady from years of woodworking, but useless now. I'd built a life, house, family, business, and missed the rot eating it away. Laura's laugh, Ethan's first steps, Sophie's gap-toothed grin, memories soured by that ledger, those photos. The kids shuffled in, dropping their bags. Ethan spoke first. You okay, Dad? Okay. I laughed hollow. You broke into a house, slashed tires. Am I okay? Sophie sat across me, unflinched. We saved you. You'd still be clueless. Clueless. That stung worst. I prided myself on providing long hours, honest work, while Laura and Mike picked my pockets. I grabbed the sparrow carving from my pocket, squeezed it. I should have seen it, I muttered. Ethan nodded. You trusted her. We didn't. Trusted her. I flashed back, Laura balancing my books, smiling over coffee, kissing me goodnight. Lies layered on lies. But the kids, they'd seen through it. Sophie's smirk, Ethan's steel, they'd grown up under my nose, sharper than I'd ever been. Why go so far? I asked. Sophie leaned in. Because you wouldn't. So I had to fight back. Fight back. I'd never fought. Took life as it came, sanded the edges smooth. Not them. They'd waged war. The phone buzzed. Karen again. Tom, Mike's gone. Took his car, left a note. I'm sorry. Sorry? Rage flared. He'd run. Left us to clean his mess. I stood, gripping the table. He's not getting away. Ethan raised an eyebrow. Cops will find him. We made sure. Made sure? My chest tightened. What else is on that flash drive? Sophie grinned, slow. Enough to bury him. And her. Bury them. I'd raised protectors, avengers, and hadn't known it. The sparrow dug into my palm, a lifeline. No more secrets, I said, voice hard. Ethan nodded. One left, Dad. Tomorrow. Tomorrow? Mike had told me it was big. Morning broke cold. The kids already up, whispering over cereal. I stormed in, done waiting. What's tomorrow mean? Ethan shoveled a bite, casual. Relax, Dad. It's handled. Handled? I snatched the flash drive from the counter. No more games. Show me. Sophie sighed, grabbed my laptop, plugged it in. New files loaded. Audio clips. Laura's voice, tinny but clear. Mike, if Tom finds out, we're done. Mike's reply. He won't. We've got years on him. Years. My fists clenched. Sophie tapped the screen. Recorded last month. At the bar. I listened. Each were a knife. They'd mock me. My trust, my work, while plotting. Another clip. Mike saying, the business is tapped out. Time to move it. Move it? My business wasn't just drained. It was a front. I sank into a chair, reeling. Ethan stood, calm. That's why we hit his house. Found a real account. Real account? He opened a bank file. Hundreds of thousands, stashed offshore, my profits rerouted. Sophie smirked. They thought you'd never check. Never check. I'd handed Laura the books, taxes, invoices, trusting her math. She'd smile, said, we're fine, honey. Fine. I'd been a fool, carving trinkets while they built a fortune. But then Karen called, voice steady now. Tom. I confronted Mike before he ran. He confessed everything. The money, Laura, years of it. Years. My head spun. Where's he now? She paused. Cops have him. I gave him your files. My files. The kids, they'd sent her copies. I turned to them awed. You planned this, all of it. Ethan nodded. Had to, Dad. They didn't just betray you. They robbed you blind. Robbed me. My business, my pride gone. But the kids, they clawed it back. Sophie stood, stretched. Cops will call soon. Laura's next. Next? Before I could ask, sirens wailed outside. 2 officers knocked. Warrants for Laura, questions for me. They'd traced the money, thanks to that drive. I glanced at Ethan, Sophie, stone-faced, victorious. You knew they'd come, I said. Ethan grinned. Yep. One last surprise. The officer handed me a paper, Laura's arrest report, filed an hour ago. She cracked, named Mike as the brains. My kids had ended it. Weeks passed, dust settling slow. Laura was in custody, fraud, theft, no bail. Mike, too, caught at the state line, spilling excuses. My business accounts were frozen, under audit, but the cops said I'd get most back, thanks to the kids' evidence. I sat in my workshop, finishing 2 carvings, sparrows for Ethan and Sophie. The wood felt solid, real, unlike the life I'd lost. They'd saved me, sure, but I'd raised warriors I barely recognized. The house was quieter now, no Laura, no lies, just us 3, rebuilding. Ethan took up driving jobs, saving for college. Sophie dove into coding, saying, next time I'll hack him faster. Next time, I laughed, shook my head. They'd changed, harder, sharper, but closer to me than ever. I'd changed too. No more blind trust, no more sanding over cracks. I'd miss Laura's game, but not my kid's strength. That ledger, those photos, they'd seen what I couldn't, fought when I wouldn't. I handed them the sparrows one night, voice thick, for sticking with me. Sophie grinned. Always, Dad. Karen stopped by sometimes, rebuilding too. She'd filed for divorce, kept the house. Your kids are something else, she said once, smiling faint. Something else, understatement. They'd torn down an empire of deceit, left Laura and Mike scrambling. The business limped along, new clients, tighter books, but I managed. Nights, I'd sit with a beer, replaying it all. Laura's tears, Mike's smirk, the kids' cold justice. I'd been the steady one, the provider, until they showed me how weak I'd been. The phone rang less now. No pleas, no threats. Just quiet. I looked at those sparrows on the mantle, symbols of flight, of fight. Ethan poked his head in one evening. Cops called. Case is solid. Sentencing next month. Solid. I nodded, grateful. Sophie joined us, tossing a football. We're good, Dad. You, good. I was scarred, sure, but standing. They dragged me through hell, then pulled me out. Yeah, I said, tossing the ball back. We're good. The biggest twist? I'd underestimated them, my own blood, and they turned out stronger than me. Thank you for tuning into Tori's story. We appreciate every single one of you. We'd love to know what part of the world are you watching from right now. Let us know in the comments.